Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we aren't just talking about dry shipping logistics. Actually, I want you to picture a cinematic, high-speed, 24/7 global ballet happening right above our heads. It's this beautifully choreographed system of movement, light, and staggering efficiency that literally powers the entire world economy. You might not see it when you look up at the clouds, but there is an entire invisible infrastructure up there working tirelessly. So let's pull back the curtain and see exactly how it operates.
We're going to launch right into our cold open with a number that sets the sheer scale of this epic story: 52 million tons. That is the physical weight of goods that air cargo moved in a single year, specifically looking at 2018. To put that into a perspective you can really visualize, we are talking about 328 billion letters and 7.4 billion postal parcels crisscrossing the globe. While electronic communication is obviously cut down on standard letters, the massive e-commerce boom has caused parcel delivery to absolutely skyrocket. Every single time you click buy, you're activating a tiny piece of this 52 million ton machine.
Now, 52 million tons is heavy, for sure, but the value of those goods is just astronomical. The cargo flying over our heads represents an eye-watering $6 trillion. If this were a movie, that number would be flashing in bright neon lights against the night sky. This isn't just about moving cheap plastic toys. This network transports the most high-value, time-sensitive, and absolutely critical goods on the planet. The stakes of this global operation literally couldn't be higher.
It's pretty easy to assume that massive ocean freighters and endless lines of trucks move everything in the world. But get this, air cargo actually accounts for over a third of all world trade by value. 35%? So while ships might carry the heaviest bulk, the skies are carrying over a third of the world's economic wealth at lightning speed.
What's truly fascinating is the secret economic engine behind the passenger airlines you and I fly on. Cargo generates roughly 9% of total airline revenues. Now, you might be thinking, well, that sounds like a modest slice. But here is the twist. That 9% is more than twice the revenue generated from the glamorous, champagne-sipping first-class passenger segment. This massive global operation is heavily regulated by IATA, that's the International Air Transport Association, which represents some 290 airlines, or 82% of total air traffic. Cargo is basically the quiet, high-earning superstar of the aviation world.
Section 1. The Secret Language of Cargo, Decoding the Logistics Alphabet.
To truly grasp this invisible network, we kind of need to treat it like a cinematic spy thriller and decode its secret language. First up in our dossier is the ULD, or Unit Load Device. Think of this as the essential building block of the entire system, literally the DNA of air cargo. A ULD isn't just some generic box. It's a precisely engineered container or pallet designed to lock perfectly into an airplane's internal handling and restraint system. The most commonly used one in the lower deck of passenger aircraft is called the LD-3. It's actually contoured to perfectly hug the rounded fuselage of the plane, ensuring not a single inch of valuable space is wasted.
Next, we have the AWB, or the Airway Bill. Imagine this as the ultimate tracking passport for goods. It's a non-negotiable receipt that obligates the carrier to transport the goods to a specific destination. But it gets even more layered. There's the Master Airway Bill, or MAW, which is issued by the carrying airlines with special numeric identification codes. And then there are House Airway Bills, or HAWB, which freight forwarders issue to their specific customers. It's this brilliant multi-tiered tracking system that makes sure absolutely nothing gets lost in the clouds.
So the really crucial point is how all those shipments travel together. And that brings us to break bulk, or B/B. To save money and increase efficiency, freight forwarders do something called consolidation. They pack many small consignments into one large lot that flies under a single master airway bill. But when that giant shipment lands, it has to go through break bulk. The handling agents break the consolidation apart into individual house airway bills so each specific package can clear customs and head to its final owner. It's honestly a lot like unpacking a massive, highly organized Russian nesting doll.
And here's a super fascinating one, the Carnet. If the airway bill is a passport, the Carnet is a VIP diplomatic pouch. It's a special customs document that permits someone to temporarily bring merchandise into a foreign country, usually for things like a trade show, a demonstration, or an exhibition, without having to pay hefty import duties or post bonds. It's the ultimate all-access pass for global business showcases, ensuring high-value prototypes can travel the world totally friction-free.
Section 2. Meet the aerial fleet, the operatives of the sky.
Okay, so we know the language and the stakes, but who are the operatives actually executing this global ballet? Well, on one side, we have commercial passenger airlines. When you fly out for your vacation, your luggage is down in the belly compartment. But guess what? So is commercial cargo. They are perfect for regular parcels because they offer incredibly frequent flights, even though they do have strict weight and space limits. On the flip side are the heavy hitters, all cargo carriers. These wide-body giants carry 0 passengers. They have massive heavy lift capabilities, moving everything from aerospace components to automotive parts. And standing right in the middle of these two are combi aircraft, which ingeniously carry both humans and cargo together right on the main deck.
Now, how do these fleets actually get a package to your front door? Well, this seamless high-speed journey is perfected by integrated express carriers. You know these companies well. We're talking UPS, FedEx Express, and DHL. Though, a fun piece of trivia for you, DHL actually ended its domestic U.S. pickup service back in 2009. The process itself is a beautifully orchestrated 4-step sequence. A truck picks up the goods, speeds them to an air cargo hub for rapid automated sorting, flies them to the destination terminal, and puts them on a final delivery truck. It is just a continuous loop of motion.
Section 3. Rules of the Sky, Parameters and Payloads.
Because this environment operates at such a high speed and altitude, it absolutely demands strict rules. You can't just throw anything into the belly of a plane flying at 30,000 feet, right? Explosives, gases, flammables, toxic substances, corrosives, those all make perfect sense as banned items. But notice that last one, items with a strong magnetic pull. Why? Because powerful magnets can actually interfere with the airplane's sensitive flight instruments. It's a hugely vital safety parameter. Also, consider lithium batteries. While you generally can't bulk ship them on passenger planes due to fire risks, they normally can fly safely on dedicated cargo planes. The rules always adapt to the vessel.
So, the real question is, why companies jump through all these regulatory hoops in the first place? It comes down to 2 things: unmatched security and speed. When you ship by ground, a truck makes multiple stops, and at every single stop, the cargo is vulnerable. Air cargo travels from point A to point B without stopping at all. Airports inherently have vastly higher security than trucking facilities. This incredible speed and safety actually empower small and mid-sized companies, allowing them to compete on a massive international scale with highly specific tracking and even same-day U.S. delivery. It's a total game changer.
Section 4. The Price of Speed, the Economics of Air Freight.
Of course, maintaining this flawless, highly secure $6 trillion infrastructure isn't free, not by a long shot. Unlike trucking, which often cares about how many individual items or pallets you have, airplanes care immensely about gravity and space. Carriers charge based on dimensional weight or actual gross weight, whichever happens to be higher. Pricing also violently fluctuates based on the time of year and the specific gateway locations involved. But the absolute biggest variable of all? Jet fuel. Global oil prices have a massive, immediate influence on shipping costs. When oil goes up, carriers are forced to raise their rates to offset the huge expense of flying heavy metal through the sky.
And that brings us to our grand finale. We've decoded the language, met the fleets, and uncovered the economics of a $6 trillion invisible ballet. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to you. The next time you sit on your couch, browse a website, and click order, I want you to think about this explainer. I want you to look up at the sky and wonder, which global fleet, which heavily regulated ULD, and which precisely tracked airway bill is already moving into position to bring that package safely to your door. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and keep your eyes on the skies.